And welcome back to Fantabulous Bags, where we do product development sketches. Here we're going to work on this beat up old leather tote, which I happen to like a lot. You can see I've used the living daylights out of it. Here's the handles, tube handles, a little bit of a 3-stitch detail here, and it's kind of fun little stitched idea, feet on the bottom. All leather. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is the usual. Going to measure him. Let's see. So we'll give ourselves an idea of our proportion. Okay, let's see. Height is 13. Top 17, 13. Okay, and the bottom is 12. Okay, I think the drop is like 8 or 9. 8.5. Okay. So again, 17, 13, 12. Okay, it's kind of a boxy shape. Okay, so let's go and move our lovely, I just love this bag. Anyway, let me take it away before I start massaging it. Okay, you go over here. And now we get back to our paper. So let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so grab our trusty pencils. Let's make sure that these are working. Okay, so let's take our ruler and give ourselves an idea of what we're doing here. We're going to do 17, 13, 12, and an 8-inch drop. The drop, by the way, is the drop from the top of the handle to the top edge of the bag. Okay, so let's go ahead and decide. We're going to go, you could go from inches to centimeters. That'll give you a perfect proportion, except you might need a bigger paper. So I'm going to go to 1.5 centimeters. So that would make about 10 cms. Just going to give myself an idea of my proportion. I always do for product development the 3/4 view, so I can in one shot give measurements on the sketch. It looks nice. Let me see, 13. Okay, there. And you can also give measurements for the gusset, for the bottom, everything. Okay, so now I am going here and, okay, so that's more or less our shape here. So now, this is the shape of the front of the bag, and it's pretty close. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in my gusset. It's a turned kind of thing, a little bit of a separate bottom. So there. Now, because this is a leather, you want to draw it kind of like slouchy, so it gives that feeling of not plasticky looking leather, which I hate. Anyway, so here we go. We're going to draw our top edge. Now, if you recall, it had a turned in detail here at the top. So we're going to draw that. It also has a little bit of a inserted cord to give it some body. So we're going to draw that in. We want to make sure that our sketch is as accurate as possible. Okay, there. Okay, so now we have the top edge with our little Bombay kind of detail. So let's get this out of the way. It's getting interfering with me. All right. Now, there's not a lot of top stitch on it. They did not want that when we did the product development on this bag. So next, actually, one thing I forgot to give you is the measurement of the handle spread, which is very important. Handle spread is the space between the two handles. So let's do that. It's actually pretty small. It's 4 1/4. Okay. I don't remember, this bag is pretty old and pretty fun. Okay, so first thing we do is we find the middle of our sketch here, more or less the middle of our bag, and then we give ourselves, so I said it was 1.5 centimeters. Okay, so it's going to be winding up there. Just remember, you want to keep your proportions proper. Okay, so now we did our 8. Let's do that. It's going to be like there. Yeah, okay. Just remember, we're doing, I mean, ½ centimeter per inch, because we didn't want to go nuts with it. Okay, so now we have a tubular handle that is inserted, and it kind of flares out, and it has like a medium soft tubing. So we're going to draw in the tubing because it's very prominent, because it has a triple top stitch around the edge. Okay, so we'll just give ourselves little erasures here. You can see what we're drawing. And here we go. This is where the stitching takes place, and it causes the handle to flare out a little bit as it gets inserted. Okay, so yeah, try to give it a nice curve there. Make it look attractive, but remember, you have to be accurate, because when you're doing product development, you have to make sure that the sample hands do not get confused, which unfortunately can happen, especially when you're dealing with sample hands that do not speak English as a first language. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is the bottom. I'm just going to give myself a nice kind of jaunty, supple wrinklage here. Okay, there. Now, next we're going to go do a side seam, because it did in fact have a side seam. I don't know if you noticed, but give it a side seam. And now we're going to do our squares. Now, I should have counted them, but let's count them now. See how many squares we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's 6, 2. All right. And then there is 3 on the side. Okay. So let's go ahead and do our squares. So you said 6. I'm just going to eyeball this. I think they were about that height. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to go do that. Now, actually, I found that there's only 3 on the side, which is kind of bizarre, but hey, why not? Okay, so. Okay. Use your ruler. It's okay. No one's going to shoot you. No one's going to think you're Picasso that can draw from memory. Although some people would, but not in the fashion industry. Okay. Okay, so now find the middle of our bag and start drawing squares. Okay, there. Okay. Make sure you got yourself a nice little square there, and go down. And go down. Okay, now the ones here are going to turn the corner a little bit, so they're not going to be that squared off, but the other ones will. So let's go ahead and keep drawing our squares. Also, as you get farther away, because it's a 3/4, oops, it's a little too short, because it's a 3/4 view, the squares on the farther edge, in other words around here, are going to look smaller, but it's not. They're not really small. It's just the effect of atmospheric distancing. So you want to make sure that you capture that, and the squares towards that are closer visually to you that you're drawing will be larger. And hopefully that makes sense, because atmospherically that's what happens. Okay, so this one did not come out as I wanted. Okay, but we'll fix it. Okay. There. All right. There. And there's the other one that's sort of towards the corner. Then we have another one here. Now these get foreshortened a lot because they're turning around the bag. Okay, so wherever you need to do a correction, do it. Okay, so now we have our bag in pencil. Very nice. Do a little, whatever, jaunty little thing there to make it look, you don't have to. I mean, you could. It's just to make it look softer. You know, just practice doing little, fun little wispy lines that make it look like it's soft. Okay. So we're on our way. Next, we're going to do our outer edge. I usually use a thick brush marker or a Sharpie to do the outer edge of the bag, and and also top edges and anything that's prominent, like a bag flap, in a Sharpie to give it more of a three-dimensional look. Okay, so you could do it also in brush marker. Let me see if we can get a little closer. Ooh, we went farther away. Okay, so we can go ahead and start that. I'm going to go around all the outer edge of the bag carefully. Wherever there is an insinuation of volume, you add that. Like here, there's like a seam, so you want to make it jump out a little bit. Ooh, the Sharpie's getting a little dry. It's actually giving it a nice look. Okay, here we go. There. Okay. This Sharpie is a little bit stinky. Okay. Okay. I could say something off color about people smelling Sharpies, but I won't. Well, actually, I already did. But anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and go for the gold. Now we're going to put in our handles. Make your nice little curve. Just capture that curve in there, make it look nice. There. Okay. Oh, forgot the back handle. Okay, so we're done with that. Looks good. Now, take this away. Now you'll notice here, I made the handle go into the top, the second top seam, not the actual top. That's the way the construction is. As you can see, the handle is going in here, not the top edge. So you want to be accurate with all, look at this delicious leather. You want to be accurate with all your details. Also, notice the beautiful taffeta lining. All right, anyways. I like this bag. Did you notice? Okay, let me see. Next up, we're going to do our fine details. So what I have here is a precise extra fine. I usually use the fine because sometimes with an extra fine, the scanner doesn't see it. You can also try this version. Let's see who's drawing better today. How's that sound? Okay, so here we go. Next, I'm going to do the handle details. Now, this here is the painted edge that goes down towards the side. Now, here you might see a little bit of it, so we're going to draw a little bit of it. There. But it's only there. On the other handle, you're probably not going to see it all because it's turned away. So next we're going to do our detail here. Now, because the handle is going in here, you want to kind of show a little bit of volume entering into the bag because it's not going to be completely flat, but it's very subtle. Okay, so next I'm going to do our fold line details and our side seam, which kind of ends here, and then it goes into this bunch of detailed things here. Okay, next I'm going to add some crease lines, and let's see, we're going to do our detail over here. All right, there. There. You could use a ruler with this, but because you're trying to give the impression of sewn seams, it's better to just do them separately, like actually indicate that they're separate panels, because the fabrics or the materials, leather in this case, tends to fight each other. So the seam always, there's a bulk there. It's going to show up even very subtly, but if you put that in there, it makes the sketch look more real. Okay, so here you see I'm just drawing in each line separately. And they're not perfectly square. If you actually look at the bag, they're not perfectly square because they're done by a human being. Okay, and not a machine. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Now the only thing we need is top stitching. And that is only going on the handle. So we'll go ahead and do our top stitch. And it's like a triple, I think. Yeah, it's a triple top stitch, which is kind of cute. And let's go ahead and do that. Now, this kind of thing, if you really wanted to, you could do this all on the computer. Just say, I'm going to do all my top stitching on the computer, and that's fine. People do that all the time. Or they just do the whole thing on computer, which I never like the look of that. I always feel like it's better to start off a hand-drawn sketch, even if you wind up enhancing it a lot with your computer. But I never like the whole look of, like, everything computerized, because it just makes me think... It just looks computerized. I don't know. Some people like that look, though. I don't. Okay, so there we have our triple stitch. And now we do it on this side. And then we also add a little line next to it. And that line indicates the tubular insert. Okay, gives it some volume. Okay, so now we have that. Let's do our little line that I was just talking about. Okay. Okay. Okay, get it to curve it nicely. Okay, next we get rid of this. Take this and get rid of all your pencil lines and get it ready for the scanner. Okay, so that is our pencil sketch, which we will scan into the computer next week. And we will manipulate whatever we need to manipulate and add some color and texture. Okay, ta-da! That's going to be fun. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed. And hope to see you around, and subscribe. If you have any questions, send them to me. We can do questions and answers if you like. Okay, have a great weekend. Bye.